Hey, what's up everyone? This is your boy Neil Gonzalez, Weather X 45, the news reporter meteorologist from Weather X 45. And today we're going to talk about Hurricane Sandy. What is Hurricane Sandy? Well, that's the most easiest question. That was in the year of 2012, October 29. So, what was Hurricane Sandy? It was a superstorm. The most powerful hurricane that was about 1,000 miles wide. And that is huge. That is a superstorm. So, I'm going to show you folks how did Hurricane Sandy form for the mid-Atlantic. Also, how did it form from the islands for the USA. So, let's get started, baby. Woohoo! Alright, so I'm in this book right here. Okay. So, I'm going to write down Hurricane Sandy. So, I'm going to make North America. Right here, I'm going to make North America. This is New York. Right here. Then, right here, this is Long Island. So, there. And then these are these little islands. I'm going to draw that. And that, we got Dominican Republic. We got that. Then these little islands that I'm not sure. Alright, so I drew a little nice North America. So right here, and then these are the islands. Like, this is the Dominican Republic, and then Cuba, Puerto Rico, whatever the majority is. Okay, so how did Hurricane Sandy form? Well, I'm going to tell you, Hurricane Sandy was the really monstrous storm that ever hit New York City. It was stronger than any kind of hurricane that hit the Northeast coast. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's the reason why. First of all, there was an El Nino that was sitting along the North Atlantic coast. So you have an El Nino. Basically what an El Nino is where you get pockets of thunderstorms and swirling tropical moisture that's colliding, causing some rainstorms. So you get a lot of rain and heavy moisture, water vapor starts going up, and then you get, just like I said, the majority of a hurricane to form, you have to have at least ocean water that's over 85 degrees. So you have to have, right here, 85 degrees of ocean water. Now, let me tell you what's weird about Hurricane Sandy. When Hurricane Sandy was formed, it was going from land to ocean. Land to ocean. When it went to the lands, it started to get weakening. It started to get a little more weakened. So, what happened is, Hurricane Sandy was like, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the ocean. So, Hurricane Sandy was basically shifting from left to right. Left to the land. Then right to the ocean. Left and right. It was a very weird storm that we ever saw. And it was a very creepy storm that just hits a land and then it goes back to the ocean. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that happened. First of all, and I'm going to draw Greenland. Greenland, I'm going to make Greenland. So let's make Greenland. I'm going to put GL for Greenland, and then this is Nova Scotia. So I'm going to show you. So this is Greenland, and this is City Nova Scotia. You know Nova Scotia, right? I know some of you had heard about Nova Scotia. It's a beautiful place, though. Hope you be in that place. It's a very beautiful place. But let's go back to Hurricane Sandy. Okay, so what happened was there was a blocking high from Greenland. And there was warm air in Greenland. Basically, the temperatures were about 35 degrees. So that caused a lot, and I mean a lot of some pockets of big icebergs to just melt and fall into the ocean and blah, 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 drown down. So we had a blocking high. BH. A blocking high is when you have clouds that are just really nothing. They're just clouds that bring just stormy winds. That's all. They just bring winds. They bring over small crafty winds. So you got these clouds in the way. I'm going to make it. So you got these clouds. So there were a lot, and I mean a lot of clouds, because there was a warm front from Greenland, which caused a lot of icebergs to fall down to the ocean. So what happened was, all this water around here was going 85 degrees, and it was getting so warm, extremely warm. And as this ocean was getting warm, we started to have a tropical storm, which is known as Tropical Storm Sandy. So Tropical Storm Sandy was starting right over here. So I'm going to show you a little diagram. I'm going to make a tropical storm. Basically what a tropical storm looks like, it looks like this. It's not like this. So what I did right here, I made a tropical storm right here. So the tropical storm was going this way. So the tropical storm actually moved from here, from this area. It was formed by this El Nino that was formed with 85 degrees of moisture. Not just only that, I'm going to tell you one thing before I get started with that. There's about 100% of moisture. There was 100%. So it was a 24-hour Hurricane Sandy. That's a big problem. So we had 100% of moisture. So we got 100% of moisture that is sitting around the bezel. Then what we have in the left is Arctic air. So I'm going to put Arctic air. And then there was a snowstorm that was in the west of North America, which is from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. You had a lot, and I mean a lot of snow. You had 24 inches of snow. So there was a winter storm. So I'm going to put a winter storm. So there was a lot of ingredients, many ingredients from Hurricane Sandy. There was 100% of moisture, there was a blocking high, there was 85% of warm water, and that was really bad. So what happened was, when Hurricane Sandy formed, it went from a tropical storm, then going to a tropical storm from this area when it hit. So I'm going to draw that. It was hitting here, and then it started to form into a hurricane. From the islands, it went from a Category 2. So this storm was a Category 2 when it was in the islands, which means that you get a Category 2 hurricane is when you get moderated damage. You get lots of moderated damage, which means you get some tree limbs fall off. You get a lot of flooding. Basically, that's what a Category 2. That's what basically a Category 2 hurricane is. Basically, Category 2 causes majority of very strong winds that could bring down power lines, moderated damage, and moderated flooding, or possibility of disastrous flooding. So, this was, and I'm going to show you how I drew it. It was a tropical storm here, and then it was still a tropical storm, and it was a Category 2 hurricane because all this warm water. It was a lot of warm water. So, as this hurricane was heading for New York City, there was another state of emergency from Barack Obama. He stated that everyone should get their belongings, and every single American who lives in the Northeast is supposed to get all their belongings, have their emergency kits just in case. It was a very, very big crisis. Even Governor Chris Christie said, stay the hell indoors, because this storm was going to be a very super storm. It's going to be nothing we've seen before. So, when Hurricane Sandy was hitting from the Northeast, basically this is what it was. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. So when it went here, the good news is that Florida didn't get hit by Hurricane Sandy, but it was very close to hit Florida. But it wasn't really as close. So basically it was just this way. So it was very close from Florida. But that doesn't mean that you don't get any issues. The one issue Florida was getting was rip currents. Rip currents were going over 4 feet to 7 feet of water, which is a lot. There was a lot of rip currents from Florida, even though they weren't hit by Hurricane Sandy. So I'm going to put RC for rip currents. There was a lot of rip currents for Florida because this hurricane was almost very close from about a 100-inch mile to Florida. So what happened was this thing went back, and it got weakening because it hit the land. So it went to the land, and then guess what happens? You see this winter storm? This started to head right here, and it'll stop right in this area. So what happens is, this baby right here, and the Arctic air that's coming down here, it pushes Hurricane Sandy, and then it just literally goes back to the water. And then it goes this way, and then it goes back to the water. It is very weird, the storm. And then it went down to a Category 1. But does that mean it's over? It is not over. This storm was really bad. It almost felt like it was a Category 3 hurricane because of the winds. The winds were torrentially terrible. And you know what made the winds even more powerful? The Arctic air. There was winds over 25 miles per hour, which made the winds for New York City to get 85 to 90 miles per hour, but it felt like it was a 100-mile-per-hour storm. So, what happened was, this is New Jersey, right? So remember when Hurricane Sandy came along from the Atlantic Ocean, went back from land to ocean, land to ocean? So then this baby comes around. You see that blocking high? This baby right here, it gets bigger, these clouds. So as these clouds get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you get all these clouds that blocks the hurricane from going this way, from this area. So what happens is, this hurricane moves back, and it literally hits like that. And then it weakens, and then it just joins with this blizzard. So, what happened was West Virginia had 30 centimeters of snow. 30 centimeters, which means that they had 30 inches, but then we had 35 centimeters plus for West Virginia because the snow connected it. The blizzard connected with Hurricane Sandy, including the Arctic air. The blocking high joined with the storm. And when that happened, it was sitting along the ocean. What's really crazy is that Hurricane Sandy, when it hit in the area, it wasn't even there in New York City in the morning. It was still in the ocean, and we had those strong winds because there was an Arctic air that was bringing a lot of winds, over 85 miles per hour. There was a lot of flooding. You gotta see 2012 of Breezy Point. It was completely on fire. It was like a hell of the end of the world that when it hit New York City. It was disastrous. Many people died from this hurricane. It was a serious situation storm. And it really connected with a lot of ingredients with winter storm. A winter storm hit, connected with West Virginia, bringing more snow. And while Greenland just sits and just getting heated up, and while the icebergs just fall down and sink down to the water. And that causes Hurricane Sandy to get even more stronger. And it was very bad. Hurricane Sandy was one of the worst storms that ever hit. Even Coney Island. Coney Island was literally underwater. The rides that you go, they were literally underwater. You gotta see one of those pictures. Go to historicstorms.com and search about Hurricane Sandy. You'll see all the damage that it caused. Hope you guys like this video, and peace out.